Welcome to the Digi-Wave Court Mode tutorial. In this tutorial, we'll review Court Mode and its features, and show you how to configure your Digi-Wave devices for Court Mode. If this is your first time using Digi-Wave devices, we recommend watching our Digi-Wave Fundamentals and Advanced Settings videos before diving into Court Mode. Section 1. Court Mode Features and Master 1 DLT Configuration. Digi-Wave Court Mode features the ability for Master 2 and guest units to toggle between multiple groups, providing flexibility and privacy for situations where secure, selective communication is important. For instance, in a court setting, you may have the need for 3 groups: 2 groups for the client counsel teams, 1 each for prosecution and defense, and 1 group for the judge. For this configuration, we will need 3 Master 1 devices to establish the groups. Once the groups are active, Master 2 and guest units can be configured for more than 1 group depending upon their communication needs, with privacy between counsels. Please note, Court Mode is compatible with DLT 400 and DLR 400 RCH devices, but not with DLR 400 ALK or DLT 300 devices. As we work through the configuration process, we'll explain certain features and configuration options that are unique to Court Mode. We'll begin configuration with the DLT for the judge. Step 1. Powering on. To begin, press and hold the power button for 2 seconds to turn on the DLT 400. Step 2. Entering the settings menu. Once the device is on, press and hold the menu select button for 2 seconds. This will take you into the settings menu. Use the menu select button to scroll forward through the options. To go back, press the power button. Step 3. Choosing a display language. Next, you'll be prompted to select a display language, either English or Spanish. This only changes the language of the menu. It won't affect any interpretation features. Select the language you're most comfortable with, and the device will update the on-screen text. Step 4. Setup options. Now you'll see 3 setup options: Join Group, Load Profile, and New Settings. Join Group lets you join an existing group as a guest using default settings. Load Profile allows you to load a previously saved configuration, including mode, master or guest role, group settings, broadcast type, clock settings, and any advanced options. New Settings starts a fresh configuration from scratch. For this tutorial, select New Settings to continue. Step 5. Mode Selection. Next, choose the mode. The standard Digi-Wave system includes Intercom, Tour, Hearing Assist, Interpretation, and Court. Select Court Mode. Step 6. Master or Guest Role. In every Digi-Wave configuration mode, at least 1 Master or Master 1 DLT is required. Each group must have 1 and only 1 Master 1 device. All other DLTs and DLRs will sync to the Master in the group. It's also important to remember that the Master DLT determines the communication range for the entire group. Select Master 1 so that we can establish a group that all other devices can sync to. Step 7. Group Number. Group numbers allow multiple communication groups to operate in the same space without interference, but maintaining privacy between groups where necessary. To join a group, all DLTs and DLRs must be set to the same group number. You can have an unlimited number of DLRs in a group and up to 1,024 DLTs. To keep it simple, we'll use Group 1 for this tutorial. Step 8. Encryption. In the other standard modes, encryption is used with the advanced settings options and can be configured to remain compatible with 300 series devices. In Court Mode, the option is a basic settings option considering the privacy concerns of a courtroom environment and is not compatible with 300 series devices. The 2 available options are No PIN Code or 128 plus 87-bit encryption. This one uses AES 128-bit encryption combined with the 87-bit encryption from the 300 compatible setting. This level of encryption requires setting a PIN code for additional security. Choose 128 plus 87-bit encryption and set a PIN code to maintain security of each group and prevent unauthorized access. Step 9. Clock Mode. Select your preferred clock format, 12-hour or 24-hour. Step 10. Set the clock. This is only available to the Master 1 device in tour mode and will affect the main display of all the other devices in the group. So if you'd like, set the current time. Keep in mind, the Master 1 DLT will sync its time across all other devices in the group. Step 11. Address. Addresses are unique numbers given to each Digi-Wave transceiver during configuration. DLR receivers do not have addresses as they do not have the ability to transmit. Addresses are automatically assigned, and it is best practice to simply accept the assigned address. In some cases, however, manual assignment may be desired. If manually assigning addresses, make sure to not duplicate an address because the address is unique to each DLT. Because there can be up to 1,024 DLTs per group, there are 1,024 addresses available per group. Step 12. Advanced Settings. Finally, you'll see the Advanced Settings option. If you select No, the configuration will be completed and you'll be advanced back to the main screen. In court mode, the side tone setting is high as a default. With this setting, anyone using a DLT will monitor their own voice in the headset at the loudest volume available. This can be set to low or off, alternatively. We've now completed the configuration of the Master 1 DLT for the judges group. Next, repeat the same process for each console Master 1 DLT, configuring to groups 2 and 3 respectively. In the next section, we'll configure guest DLT units for the groups that we need them to communicate with. Section 2. Configuring guest DLTs in court mode. In the last section, we configured Master 1 DLTs for 3 groups, representing the judge and 2 console teams. In this section of the video, we'll configure our guest DLT devices for those parties, effectively deciding who they'll be able to communicate with. In the last section, we covered each configuration step in detail. For this section, we'll keep it much more brief, but we'll stop along the way to explain in detail any options that are unique to these devices' configurations. If you've jumped ahead, we recommend going back to watch the first section of this video to get the full detailed explanation. Step 1. Power up the DLT. Step 2. Enter the settings menu. Step 3. Choose a display language. Step 4. Select new settings. Step 5. Mode. Select court mode. Step 6. Master or guest. Select guest. Step 7. Group number. This is where we need to make some decisions about who will be able to communicate with whom. The groups we've established are Group 1, the judge, who needs to be able to speak with each counsel person. Group 2, client counsel number 1, in this case defense. Group 3, client counsel number 2, in this case prosecution. Let's assume that the client is the person using the Master 1 DLT for each client counsel group, since the master can only be configured for one group, their own. Both counsel persons need to be able to communicate with their own group, communicate with the judge's group, but not communicate with the other counsel person or client. We may also have an interpreter who needs to communicate with all 3 groups. For this first guest device, let's assign groups 1 and 2, and so for this option, select Group 1. Step 8. Encryption. If you configured the Master 1 DLT with a PIN code for Group 1, then you'll need to enter that PIN here. If not, select No. Step 9. Add Group 2. Select Yes, and then select Group 2. Once again, if you configured the Master 1 DLT with a PIN code for Group 2, then you'll need to enter that PIN code here. Add another group ? We've already added the 2 groups that we want this device configured to, so we can select No. Step 11. Clock mode. Select your preferred clock format, 12-hour or 24-hour. Step 12. Advanced settings. If you select No, the configuration will be completed and you'll be advanced back to the main screen. Now that we've completed configuring our first guest DLT, we have a device that can be assigned to the defense counsel person. They'll be able to communicate with their client and the judge. To change between groups, the user can tap the arrow buttons up or down, depending upon which group they need to communicate with. Next, we need to go through the same steps to configure another guest DLT for prosecution, configured as groups 1 and 3. If we have an interpreter, they will need a guest DLT configured to all 3 groups. In the next section, we'll briefly cover configuration of Digi-Wave receivers for court mode. Section 3. Configuration of a DLR for court mode. In the last section, we went through the configuration steps for guest transceivers and how to configure them for more than one group. The steps to configure a rechargeable receiver model DLR400RCH are very similar. Just as a reminder, DLR400ALK models are not compatible with court mode. If the receiver only needs to be configured for one group, you can simply use the Join Group option. Power on the receiver, enter the Settings menu, choose a display language, select Join Group. Select the desired group number from the populated list. You should see groups 1 through 3 listed. If the group has a PIN code, you'll see a key symbol next to the encrypted group. If you select an encrypted group, you'll be prompted to enter the PIN automatically. Once this is complete, the receiver will be configured to listen to the broadcasting audio from the DLTs in the group. If the receiver needs to be configured for more than one group, you can follow the same steps as the guest DLT, understanding that some basic device-specific functions on receivers are different from the transceivers, and receivers don't have advanced settings, but some advanced options for transceivers are actually basic options for the receivers, such as tone, line-out gain, auto-off, and sleep mode. In the next section, we'll test communication to ensure that everything is working properly. Section 4. Testing communication. In the last section, we covered the configuration of receivers. In this section, we're going to test communication for all of our configured devices. At this point, we should have the following devices and configurations. One Master 1 transceiver for the judge, configured to Group 1. 2 transceivers for the defense, which consists of one Master 1 transceiver for the client, configured to Group 2, and one guest transceiver for the counsel person, configured to Groups 1 and 2. Then we should have 2 transceivers for the prosecution, one Master 1 transceiver for the client configured to Group 3, and one guest transceiver for the counsel person configured to Groups 1 and 3. Next, we should have one guest transceiver for the interpreter configured to Groups 1, 2, and 3. And finally, we should have one receiver configured to at least one group. With all devices powered on, ensure that all of the devices have signal bars at the top left of the display. The guest or Master 1 should display solid, not blinking, at the bottom left. If guest is blinking, either there isn't a Master 1 powered on or the device is not configured to the correct group. Check your Master 1 transceivers to make sure they're all powered on and configured to the group that you expect. Now, if everything looks good, tap the talk button on all transceivers and test the signal broadcast for all groups and devices. Make sure to test all groups on devices that are configured for more than one group. Thank you for watching the DigiWave Court Mode tutorial. Be sure to check out our other DigiWave tutorials, including the Interpretation Mode tutorial, to learn more about the variety of ways you can use DigiWave devices. As always, if you have questions or need support, You can reach the Tech Services and Design Department by emailing us at techservices@williamsav.com. For any sales inquiries, email info@williamsav.com.